that there's a form of martial law in Los Angeles. I just want to introduce you to Checkpoint with military. There's like, hello, how's it going? Yeah, press pass. Yeah. Thanks for your service. Yeah. This is full military equipment in the civilian population. So that's what's happening in Los Angeles. If anyone doesn't think that there's a form of martial law in Los Angeles, I just want to introduce you to Checkpoint with military. There's like, hello, how's it going? Yeah, press pass. Yeah. Thanks for your service. Yeah. This is full military equipment in the civilian population. So that's what's happening in Los Angeles. If anyone...
Shalom. First and foremost, before I get started, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory due to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Kakudash. Double honors to the apostles and elders, a great millstone that ruled well. Peace and salutation to the icon that's pushing his word in truth and sincerity throughout the four corners of the earth, waking up the hopeful elect. They're risking their lives and freedoms to do so, definitely more so now than ever before. This is the brother Zion Ahmad from the gym, Mr. Detroit by Camp. And this is going to be a quick lesson regarding Jacob's trouble. All right, just to sum it up. All right, the clip you just seen, of checkpoints being set up at the borders. All right, it's not just going to be a border thing. It's going to be a state-to-state thing, a city-to-city thing. All right, and this will be your new normal, if you will. Right? As I'm saying that, it got me thinking about the 15-minute cities. Right? Suddenly, right, we're having a lot of destruction, right, by way of fires, right, namely in California, and then recently you had having some fires that seem to be hard to contain in the Carolinas, which that is unprecedented. Right, I know as long as I've been around, I have never heard of fires in the Carolinas, so it begs the question, what the hell is going on there? All right, and when you do the due diligence with these fires, all right, they look very orchestrated. They look planned. All right, where you had the whole house or place of work or whatever that's totally really incinerated, right? But then you have bushes and trees, green grass all around it. It's like, how does that work? Right? So, just food for thought there. But anyway, concerning these checkpoints, this will be a normal, thing. Right? Checkpoints with military men, right, at these checkpoints. It ain't gonna be no local, police force or anything like that. All right, so buckle up. All right, brother's been basically making a lot of videos concerning getting your house in order. All right, getting your spirit in order, examining yourself. All right, and that's what time it is. That's what needs to be done if you want to make it to the kingdom, Lord willing. If you're looking for, that hand of salvation by way of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, we have to basically dig deep, and immerse ourselves in the holy place, which are the scriptures. All right. So let's go. Like I said, I have really nothing planned per se in terms of precepts, but let's go here. This is Revelation, because see, this goes hand in hand with the draconian measures that's coming down, right? They're talking about basically banning the Bible and or incarcerating those that basically teach the Bible, namely on the street corners, which we know obviously is aimed at the men, all right, aimed at the prophets, the teachers that go out on the highways and byways, all right, because with us coming out, all right, what we're bringing out, the truth, all right, we're unveiling all the secrets that the devil, all right, in the form of the so-called white man has deceived the whole world with. All right, so this truth, all right, it's a hell raiser to all the lies, all right, that's been spread over the people. You know. So real quick, but let's just see. Revelation 13 and 11, and it reads, "And I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth. And he had 2 horns like a lamb." All right. So that beast is basically NATO and the EU. All right. With America, the whore, right, pulling the reins. Right. It says it had 2 horns, right? Like a lamb. A lamb is known to be a basically docile, peaceful creature, right? That would do no harm, right? It's not like a predator, you know, like a, I don't know, like a lion, for example, right? It says it had 2 horns like a lamb, which represents also your political parties, the Democrats and the Republicans. 2,000 years ago, it was the patricians, all right, and the plebeians, which the plebeians will be equal to the Democratic Party of today. The patricians will be equal to the Republican Party of today, right? So with these parties, right, they come as a lamb, but now what? It says he had 2 horns like a lamb, but he spake as a dragon, right? A dragon, which is a mythical creature, but you know, when you see it, what is known to spew fire out of his mouth, right? Which word dragon goes back to Dracon, which there was an individual, all right, who was an Athenian lawgiver, all right, which basically would punish people for severely or harshly, right, for minor offenses, all right, what's more minor, right, than reading the Bible. Where's the threat in that? You know, one would say, you know what I'm saying? But hey, the truth is always a threat, right? The Bible hasn't changed. It's just how it's being brought out is the issue, all right, to these elites, all right, the people that run this earth, all right. The truth is a threat unto them and to shit all heathen nations for that matter, all right, because we're letting them know that the kingdom of heaven is being ushered in. Their kingdom is going down, right? Two kings cannot rule on the throne at the same time. That will breed confusion. So the Lord is literally decimating, all right, America, aka Babylon the Great, in order to set up His kingdom, all right, which will be headed, by Yahweh, by Shem Yahushai, the hopeful elect, right? That's pretty much the point I want to highlight there. So, yeah, they come in with these, speaking as a dragon, so, Jake is going to be, hell, matter of fact, just seen some, what do you say, damn, what was that article? You see so much stuff, bro, but, oh yeah, I think it was something to the tune that I think they're looking to I think they want to kill basically anyone that kills an officer. So basically capital punishment. That equating the fact that these policy officers, all right, they prey on Jake, all right, and they're killing us. You see, we have no defense, right? We can't defend ourselves. We can't resist arrest, as they would say, all right, even though, all right, they're harassing us and or murdering us, all right. So in the event you retaliate, right, you harm or kill the officer, oh, then now you must be killed, right? They're not going to equate, or they're not going to factor in self-defense, That's why, hey, we're defenseless. That's why the Lord calls us or compares us to worms, right? Because you have no voice, you have no military, you have no say-so, you have no way to defend yourself, all right, in this society, all right? It's your duty, right, to solely depend on Yahweh by Shem Yahushai. But we know all the elect are going to do that, right? So, yeah, buckle up. It's going to get real. Or, as the saying goes, it's going to get worse before it gets better. Because that's what those birth pains are, all right? The scriptures are reference, all right, these times, Jacob's trouble, all right, to birth pains, so meaning it's going to get, just as I said, it's going to get worse, all right, before it gets better. Let's see. So, let's get this. This is, where's that at? The second Nazareth. I started at 18. I may jump around. It says the beginning of sorrows. In fact, I started at 17. Woe is me, who will deliver me in those days? Now, this is Ezra speaking. All right, and he's speaking in a future tense because he knew, one, the Bible deals with reincarnation. Right, he knew that he would be here in these times. All right? Because you come back every roughly 3 or 4 generations, all right? But he's worried, he's apprehensive, because he's seeing the times, you know, he's seeing the calamity. It's like, well, damn, what am I gonna do? Who's gonna deliver me, you know, at that time, right? Reading on, it says the beginning of sorrows and great mournings, the beginning of famine and great death. All right, there's gonna be a lot of blood spilled in these streets, you know, a lot of blood. It says the beginning of wars, all right, which we're having that, right? Race wars, civil wars, ultimately world wars, all right, culminating in World War III. Trump ain't just, you know, throwing those sound bites out there for nothing. He's getting the people's minds prepared, because that's where it's headed to. Why? Because biblical prophecy, right, for World War III to play out in the earth. It says, "What shall I do when these evils?" Where evil means bad times. Right? So when these bad times start coming around, well, what am I to do? You know? Again, I said earlier, stand in the holy place. These scriptures. Pray and beg for mercy to Yahweh by Hashem Yahushai. You know? It says, "Behold, famine and plague, tribulation and anguish are sent as scourges," all right, for amendment. All right, so the Lord chastises us. He beats our ass, all right, in order for us to straighten up. All right, but we understand all the elect, all right, are gonna take hold to that. Let's see, I want to jump down. It's at 15, I forget right now. Let's see, let's do this. Second as is 15 and 17. It says, "A man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able." You just saw a hint of that right in the clip. Right? This guy, he was press. He worked for press. You know what I'm saying? Media, whatever. So, you know, they gave him the pass. But eventually, you're going to need that C-hip and that brain C-hip. You know? That's going to be your identification. You see? So without that, you can't move from city to city, state to state. You know, just as it is with a passport. You can't go from country to country, right, without it, right? Your new passport to go from city to city is going to be that C-hip, right? There's going to be checkpoints, right? So, again, that's going to be the new norm. This devil wants everything to be ran, you know, digitally, and electronically, to be merged with your biochemistry, right? To be merged, right, with man, which is off. That's off. That's why the Lord is It's just going to destroy, 2/3 that take this seal. Because when you do that, you're literally you're a new creature, right? But you're not a new creature in your house. You're a new creature in the devil, all right? Because he done took your DNA and merged it, right, with a device, with technology, right? So that makes you a cyborg, right? So you're not a human being by definition, Due to that, the Lord can't save you. There's no salvation for you if you take that seed up, all right? Once you receive it, that's it. There ain't no, put it in, take it out. Like you can't be penetrated, right, by that, right? You're not a virgin anymore in the spirit if you take that seed up. So, it says, for because of their pride, the cities shall be troubled, and the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. So imagine that. So how much more women? All right. When you're trying to, maybe go to another town, another city for refuge, and you can't, right? Because there's military forces outside. Now you're gonna have, militia groups. You're gonna have people, certain people, that join up to take on the army, right? Which goes into those, those different type of race wars and civil wars and whatnot. But it's gonna be highly unlikely that you reign supreme. It's just gonna be a nasty time. All right. So again, lean into Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai. All right, because we not equipped, right, for none of this. All right. That's even if you do get so-called training, like you're not equipped, all right, to deal with this. All right. The only way you can be equipped, all right, is by having the knowledge and wisdom. As the scripture say, knowledge and wisdom should be the stability of the times. That's what's going to help you keep a good head on your shoulder. So I'm going to just leave it at that. Lord willing, this was edifying. With that, I want to give all praise and honor and glory due to Yahweh, B'Shem Yahushai, B'Shem Kakudash. Double honors to the apostles and elders, a great millstone and well. Peace and salutation to the Akim that's pushing his word in truth and sincerity throughout the four corners of the earth. Shalom.